This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, Rabbi. Parshas Vayeishev. If you take note that you look at the beginning of the Parsha, Yosef HaTzadik is on the top of the world. Yosef was selected by his father to be the recipient of all the wisdom that Yaakov Avinu learned in the yeshiva Shem Ve'ever. Yaakov Avinu gives only Yosef his special cloak, Glatstein Pasim. The Glatstein Pasim represented Yaakov's special love for Yosef. So here Yosef's on the top of the world. He's at cloud 9. He's wearing the special cloak. He's the one learning with his father. He's the Ben Zakunim. And you look at the end of the Parsha, Yosef's in the lowest pit. He's languishing in jail. He's wallowing in jail. He's trying desperately to get out. Yosef has gone Me'igra Rama Labira. He's gone from the highest of heights to the lowest of lows. Beginning of the Parsha, he's wearing the Technicolor dream coat, and at the end of the Parsha, he's in the pit. And then you look at Parshas Miketz, Yosef starts off in jail. He's disheveled, he's unkempt. They rush him out, and by the end of the Parsha, he's the second most powerful man in the world. He's running the world economy. The lowest of lows to the highest of highs. Parshas Vayeishev, from the high to the low. Parshas Miketz, from the low to the high. What happened? How do we explain the contrast? So I once heard from a great Rav Isaac Bernstein. He said the difference is as follows. What does Yosef do in Parshas Vayeishev? He tells his brothers, Herzachain, listen up. You want to hear about my dream? You know that 11 sheaves are bowing down to me. You know the stars and the moon, they're all bowing down to me. You want to hear about my dreams, my aspirations, my hopes? When you walk around talking about me, about what I want, what my hopes are, what my aspirations are, that's a one-way ticket for disaster. But in Parshas Miketz, Yosef has taken a different course. Yosef goes around, what are you dreaming about? What's on your mind? What are your hopes? What are your aspirations? That is a one-way ticket to success. In our generation, all you hear about is my rights, my entitlement. What am I allowed to have? What am I allowed to achieve? In this world, how do we measure someone who's successful? If I have this degree, if I have this profession, if I own this, if I'm a gvir. Well, in the Torah, there's no mitzvah to be a gvir. What does it say? Have a gvir le'achecha. That's what a gvir is. A gvir is, what could you do for somebody else? That's how the Torah measures success. When are you a gvir? You're a gvir when it's le'achecha. Very interesting. What word does the Torah use to describe successful? Vayehi Hashem es Yosef, Vayehi Ish Matzliach. Matzliach, you would say, successful, you should say Ish Tzalecha. Matzliach, it has the causative mem. Mem means to cause, to give over. Simcha is happiness. Misameach, to cause happiness. Limud is learning. Milamed, to give learning. Or is light. Ma'ar, to give light. Why does the Torah consider successful person? Why is it called Matzliach? The answer is because in the definition of the Torah, the definition of success is not when you're successful, it's when you're Matzliach, when you bring success to other people. Even the most accomplished, the smartest, wealthiest, if they're only interested in their own welfare, they are not Tzalecha. They are Lo Yitzlach. The definition of success in the eyes of the Torah is Ish Matzliach, if you cause success to other people. Gemara says in Masechta Nedarim, Daf Samach Daled Amud Beis, Arba Chashuvim Kameis. There are 4 people. Their life is not complete. Arba Chashuvim Kameis. You have an Ani, a poor man. You have Mitzayra, a leper, someone has Saras. You have a Suma, a blind person. Umi Shein Lo Banim. So, at first glance, how would we explain this Gemara? How would we explain this Chazal? We would explain it that all these four situations are different types of hardships, different types of yisurim, where a person is troubled, a person has pain, and their life in a way is not complete because they have these tsaras. Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, that's not Pshat in the Gemara. Pshat in the Gemara is not, these people have hardships. Because David HaMelech says, life with hardships is very fortunate. Yasor Yisrani Ka, V'lamaves Leinasanani. The fact that a person has hardships, it's still Chayim at its fullest. It still beats the alternative. Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, what does this Gemara mean? The Gemara is teaching us what is the definition of Chayim. You know what the definition of Chayim is? The ability to give. And all these four people are in circumstances that their ability to give is mitigated. Someone who's an ani doesn't have the resources to give. Someone who's a Mitzaira, a leaper, he has to be Badad Yeshev Michutz Lamachane. He can't have interaction with people. He can't give. He's in isolation. Someone who's a Suma. If you can't see another person, like Moshe Rabbeinu, how could you help a person? Vayetze Moshe, Vayar b'siv loisam, Nasan eina v'libai lirais b'siv loisam. In order to be able to give, you have to be able to see. That provides you with whom to give. But it's not a technical law. Someone who's an ani could certainly compensate. All these four people, they are mitigated. Their ability to give is mitigated. And that, says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, it's not just by the standard of the Torah. A successful person is a person who gives. By the standard of the Torah, a living person is someone who gives. The definition of life, the definition of chiyus is to give. If you look throughout the whole Tanakh, there are only two people who are called tzaddik. I ask you right now, what's a tzaddik? Tzaddik is somebody who learns, who davens. There are only two people in Tanakh who are called tzaddik. Eile Toldos Noach ish tzaddik. And in this week's Haftarah, Nimkar Ba'kesef tzaddik. Yosef is called a tzaddik. Says the Medrash Tanchuma, what do these two people have in common? The only two people that fed the whole world. Noach fed all the animals and all man who was alive. He provided for the whole world. Yosef, hu hamashbir l'chol am haaretz. You want to be a tzaddik? Give food to other people. That's what a tzaddik is. Everybody has their own picture and definition of tzaddik. Well, let's look at what the Torah's picture of a tzaddik is. The Torah's picture is ish noach ish tzaddik. Nimkar ba'kesef tzaddik. Yosef and Noach. And, listen to this. You know who else is called a tzaddik? There's one other individual called a tzaddik. Tzaddik Hashem b'chol d'rachav. Why? Because you know what the pasuk before is? Poiseach es yadecha u'mazbiya l'chol chai ratzayin. That's what a tzaddik is. Tzaddik is give food to living people. Says Reb Chaim Vital that just as a Jew knows and recognizes that learning Torah is a critical part of Avodas Hashem, a Jew would not let a day go by without limud Torah. Says Reb Chaim Vital, by the same token, a Jew at the end of the day should say to himself, Oy li, woe to me that I let the day go by without doing a chesed. That the same way, you can't let a day go by without learning, you can't let a day go by without trying to help another yid in some way. This is a definition of tzaddik, this is a definition of matzliach, this is a definition of chiyus, and Yosef, not only from this week's Parshas Vayeishev, he starts off top of the world. He ends off in the pit. Yosef learned this lesson so clearly that not only at the end of next week's Parsha is on the top of the world, but he also gets a new name. He's a tzaddik. In other words, Yosef was such a tzaddik, he learned this lesson and he excelled in it because v'halachta b'drachav, just like the Rebbeinu Shalom is tzaddik Hashem b'chol drachav, Yosef emulated the ways of Hashem, and he too was Yosef HaTzaddik. Everyone have a wonderful day.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.